Hey guys, there is a letter here, some information from the developers themselves about the issues of Season 1. There was already a patch today that fixed some of those issues. And this is very interesting stuff, because those are the exact things that I was mentioning in my previous video, where I talked about how good or bad Season 1 actually is. Everything that I've talked about is addressed here in this, let me call it letter or patch notes, however you want to call it. So I want to talk about this a little bit and go over it with you, together with you guys. So the first point here is that certain season content feels too weak or lack versatility. This is exactly what I told you in my last video, that the save data that we accomplish, that we establish in Season 1 is way weaker than the save data that we establish ourselves outside of the season. That defeats the whole purpose, right? These new cards are bloat. They are overall way too weak, and they are just not doing, they are not getting the job done. With how weak everything is in Season 1, the point of the entire season is defeated. The season is useless, and it doesn't make any sense to have it in the first place, because it makes things worse. A season is here to introduce us to hype things, to strong stuff that we wanna grind for, give us an incentive, you know what I mean? But with everything being underwhelming and weak, just like the character Yuki or the cards that they introduced, what is even the point of having a season? There is no point, right? Let me show you and prove to you actually that I was exactly talking about this thing. So let me roll up my video. No one else on the internet was talking about this. I told you this in the video as well. I'm keeping my eyes strictly onto YouTube. I'm on Twitter. No one is talking about how the Season 1 sucks and why it sucks. I was the only one. And now let's listen to me mentioning exactly these things here, with the cards in the season being too weak. Aggressive Mutant. That's a quite solid card, you know what I mean? There's another card that gives you a lot of shield. This one here, Shell Forming Cell. There are some good cards, is the point, in these forbidden cards. But overall, if you make a save data for a high point value only consisting of these forbidden cards, it's still not gonna be as good as a save data that you can establish yourself outside of the season. And that's the whole point. That's the whole point. What is the point of the season if the save data that we accomplish ourselves in this season is weaker than the save data outside? It doesn't make any fucking sense whatsoever. The whole season is useless because of this, right? Emphasis on it is very important. But here, these patch notes, they address this issue here. This patch will include buffs to underperforming season items and cards. The cards are becoming more viable and stronger. That is exactly what we need. Along with improvements to encourage more diverse deck building options. Okay, cool. Very good point here. I'm happy they addressed that the cards and even the items of the season, which the items are also way too weak and not exciting at all. I'm glad that the developers realize this issue and they conquer it. They at least attempt to fix it quite fast. Then let's move on to point number 2 here. Reduced epiphany acquisition due to the introduction of the dimensional tunnel. Exactly. There's one event on this map that is meant for you to get your hands onto epiphany upgrades, which is good. The problem with it is that you need to find this dimensional tunnel to get your epiphany upgrades in the first place, because outside of this tunnel the amount of epiphanies that we get is way too low, which again makes everything much more boring. it condenses the stuff into just one tile, which again it defeats the purpose. It's not the way to go, you know. The season needs to make us overpowered. It needs to be hype. We need to get strong through this. Otherwise, the purpose is lost. And here we go. The introduction of the dimensional tunnel has reduced the overall number of epiphany rewards in unidentified areas. Excuse me, resulting in a lower total epiphany gain compared to the previous gameplay. Exactly what I was just saying. In this patch, we will improve unidentified area rewards and add bonus epiphany opportunities to dimensional tunnel rewards. So yeah, the epiphanies that we get outside of the tunnel are increased, and the tunnel itself gives us also more epiphanies. Very good change. Then we can take a look at point number 3. Season difficulty is lower than existing endgame content, diminishing the challenge. It's overall a little bit too easy. Okay, I don't think so, but reasonable, right? If they want to make the content challenging, sure. Maybe you should have released a better new character and a better partner and everything to... Yeah, I mean, anyways, right? They want to make this more difficult, fine. We will immediately unlock the 3 higher difficulty levels that were scheduled for a future update. These difficulties will feature enhanced boss patterns and increase the challenge. Alright, they make stuff more difficult, fine by me. Zero system upgrade effects not applying to season chaos. Yes, exactly. In this season, chaos orbs are mentioned, but they don't exist. I was really confused by this, because if you go into a season map, into a chaos for the season, right, there are tiles that mention specifically and indicate this via visual indicators that you are able there to obtain chaos orbs. And I was grinding them, I was farming them, and I couldn't find anything that I could do with these chaos orbs. They didn't really exist, even though the game told me they do. I was really confused by this and asking around what is going on with this, and no one had an answer, because the shit is just, it doesn't exist, you know. It was super weird and confusing to me. But now they address this issue as well. Zero system upgrades provide significant advantages for chaos gameplay. Exactly. Why don't we get chaos orbs just like in the zero system to upgrade everything, our stats, our tiles? They should even get more creative and have these chaos orbs in the season do more than be just flat out stat increases like health and attack and blah. That is boring. We need these chaos orbs, like best case scenario, to mix up, to be creative, to change the way we battle and make this exciting. Flat stat increases are not hype at all, right? But whatever. However, the season chaos currently does not benefit from these upgrade effects, which is super duper weird to me. It was so confusing, resulting in the loss of various stat effects, entry bonuses and options. Exactly. It is boring, right? I was telling you this in this video, that this season, in my video, that the season feels extremely underwhelming and also boring, because everything is much weaker compared to outside of the season. This was the whole point that I made about season 1. And yeah, the developers, God bless, realized this and fixed it. This creates a noticeably negative experience for players. Exactly. This urgent patch will apply zero system upgrade effects to both season chaos and chaos manifestation. Beautiful. Additionally, season chaos will now drop chaos. Finally, it's not just an illusion and a lie anymore, but now the chaos orbs actually exist in the season. Thank you so much. Then point number 5 is, in my opinion, a little bit controversial, but let's check it out. Gameplay becoming too centered around season chaos, reducing content variety. On this one I have to disagree, but let's read first what they have to say and then talk about it afterwards. When seasonal content is only added to specific areas, it is difficult to surpass the volume, diversity and the build-up experience offered by existing content. Therefore, the next update will integrate core seasonal features into the codex, into the zero system. This will allow you a chance to experience key seasonal mechanics through the codex, expanding content variety so all players can continue enjoying regular zero system gameplay alongside seasonal content. I don't see the purpose for this at all. In the long term, we plan to improve seasonal content so that it can integrate more naturally across the entire game. I don't understand what they mean by this at all. I really don't see a problem with this. The season is here, so we grind the season. During a season, we are supposed to, or we should be, doing the seasonal content. That's the whole point of a season. If you now integrate the seasonal content into content outside of the season, then again, like what the thing that you are doing is you make your season be less relevant. A season, it has to be all about the season. Everything, the whole game during a season has to be about the season. That is the whole point of having a season in the first place. So yeah, introducing the content for the season and bring it to content outside of the season doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. Then point number 6 is chaos fatigue issue. Yes, these runs are very exhausting. Like after I have done like a run or two, I take a deep breath and I'm like, whoa, okay, should I go for another run? You see, and this is exactly what they mean with this fatigue. It even becomes a little bit of a chore sometimes, if I'm being honest, to do these runs, and that doesn't feel good. Let's read what they have to say. This is the area our development team is most committed to improving. Good, you have your priorities set straight. We are reviewing numerous adjustments, such as early game boost, enhanced chaos rewards, and lowering the difficulty of save data setup. Perfect. Make it easier for us to get our save data set up. What I mean by this, I always refer to this. If you include too much stuff into a chaos run, like adding more and more cards, adding more and more items, just as we do with this season number 1, right? What this leads to is it makes our save data setup more difficult to accomplish. The cards that we are actually looking for are much harder to come by the more and more cards and items we actually have. It did even go as far as I came to the conclusion, I was truly believing they removed 2 cards from this season 1 entirely, because I was grinding for over 10 hours non-stop and I could not find one of these 2 cards at least one time. I have not seen them, so I thought they are not even part of the season. I'm talking about maneuvering fire and energy barrier. I thought they thought these cards are too good and they removed them from the seasonal planet, which is not the case. By now, after over 15 hours of grinding this planet, I have finally found these cards and I know now that they exist. But you see, with the point of all of this, what this point proves is that you are like the developers, they are in danger to make their most important part of content, which are these chaos runs, and turn them into a bump simulator where you will only find useless trash that you don't even want to obtain in the first place. And they have to address this issue already. It is already a bump simulator, because you see the 2 cards that I want for my save data, that I need, that are so good, way too good to pass up. I need to find them. And if I have to grind over fucking 10 hours, 15 hours to see them once, then that is not fun at all. That makes me uninstall the game, if I'm being honest, right? But they are aware, and yeah, they give us early game boost, they enhance the chaos rewards, they're lowering the difficulty to save data setup. This is the most important part here. Lowering the difficulty of save data setup. I have to get a way, be it through fates or to whatever. They have to find a solution and make me be able to find the items and the cards that I actually want to find without having to grind this shit for over 10 hours. Okay, let's keep on reading. To ensure that your playtime is filled with enjoyable moments. Yes, dopamine. If I actually find, let's talk about this a little bit. This is a very, very important point. The dopamine that you get, the fun that you get by finding the card that you actually want has to be, as they say, an enjoyable moment. So you have to make it, you have to find the very perfect balance of this, of not make it too easy to get my hands onto the cards and items that I'm actually looking for, but also don't make it too hard. Because if you make it too easy, then the enjoyable moment that I will get through finding what I'm actually looking for will not be there anymore. Because I always get, or most of the times get, what I'm looking for anyways, and it would lead to boring, right? The enjoyable moment of finding what I want would be gone. That's not the way. But if you make it too hard and you make me grind for over 10 hours to find a card once, then it becomes a chore and it will turn into fatigue. So that is the thing, that is the job of the developers, to get this shit right. However they want to do it. There are many, many things to do, be it by fate or by anything, right? Let me choose the rewards that I'm looking for at the beginning and increase the drop rate for certain cards or something like that, right? There are multiple ways they can approach this. That's up to them. Cool. While this will not be fully reflected in the urgent patch, yeah, of course, that is a mountain to climb, and it will take some time to get right. Of course. We will reveal and implement meaningful improvements in the next update. Okay, cool. So, what does all of this mean? Is this good? Is this bad? How good is this? This is actually phenomenal, because they really nail it down here. They really are aware that to exactly what they have to do. They know exactly what the biggest issues are. They address them really fast already, right? And they're working on improving the correct things. They got their priorities set straight, and they are aware of exactly what their game needs to become better. I'm a little bit impressed, right? I don't see this, especially nowadays, with game developers, that most game developers aren't even aware of what their game needs to improve. They don't give a fuck. They don't realize why their game is bad or how to make their game better. These developers here, as stated here, they seem to be very aware of what they have to fix, and they have their priorities straight. They mentioned this here, right? The chaos fatigue, the not turning this game into a bum simulator, to put it into my words, is their most important priority. This is what they are most committed to improving, and that is really a delight to hear. I'm very, very pleased with pretty much everything that I'm reading here. So, big W. And that's it about the video, guys. If you like Chaos Zero Nightmare content in general, please consider leaving a follow on my channel. I would really appreciate it. But until next time, don't forget to join the Discord server. Link to that in the description down below. Take care of yourselves. Have a great day. Peace and love.